Systems are online. Welcome back, Jet.
Banger alert! We got an absolute banger today. This entire episode is pure heat. Get you something nice to drink, a snack, and sit on back because this is an absolute great episode. This might be one of my favorite episodes I've been dropped all year. We're going through there on this one. Huge shout out to everyone that made it to the live last night. We were kicking it for like 4 hours. We went through there on that one. That was a lot of fun. We're gonna have to do that one again soon. Huge shout out to everyone that made it out to the live. For context, remember, this entire episode is strictly for entertainment purposes only. Don't believe everything you hear or see. These are just theories, not facts. For context. With that being said, hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive in.
Hello from the big Romanian giant that is a stone giant. And I'm going to explain to you because you've seen anyway. So this is his foot, the leg. This is the body. This is his hand underneath. And then his head is actually said that it's actually here, and this is his eye. So this is the nose. Yes, that is the one eye and the other. So this is the head. So this giant actually, it said that is the one that when it's going to wake up, all the universe, I would say all the earth, it will be renewed and the people will actually transit to a new dimension. Hello from the big Romanian giant.
I'm not sure about everything else she said, but looking at this does look like a leg indented in a mountain. How crazy is this? Like, this is the foot, here's the calf, and like the thigh. And it's going inside this mountain. And look at this crazy part. They literally find a predator looking battle. I don't know if this is his actual skull, but it does look like half a skull kinda, but more like a battle mask or like a helmet if you ask me. Maybe this could have been like the armor the giant could have been wearing. How crazy is this? And it looks like a piece of our eyes inside. How crazy is that? Like, where's the other half? What is this? This does not look natural at all. This looks like a shoulder pad armor. This is insane, actually. This is in Romania? Extremely interesting. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Is that a helmet? Tell me this doesn't look like a leg. How can this type of formation protrude out of this, you know? It doesn't look natural. And look at this over here. Almost like it was laying on top of some type of mechanism, man. This looks like some type of mechanism right here after a closer look. Extremely fascinating. And the crazy part about this, it looks like the eyeball is still in the socket. I wish she could have got a close-up on that, or we can get a sample of that and put that in a microscope. I need samples. I need samples of this skull. I need samples of that leg. And we need to start testing this stuff.
Now, whether we choose to believe this or not, the Euphrates River is drying up. Could this be real biblical prophecy? Because there is an ex-military official that talks about what happened to him on the Euphrates River. Now, here's part of his story, and you let me know what you think. Is he telling the truth or not?
Who's somebody that may have some important information coming in and out of this place. And this person comes out of it, and they're like, something about the Euphrates River. I didn't think nothing of it. Right after that, we had the show of force in the Euphrates River. where these guys, where these Marines came in contact with something and they were spooked and they didn't want to talk about it. Right after that, they brought in the boats. We got a crash course on how to operate these boats, how to maneuver our weapons and fire on these boats, blah, blah, blah. So we go directly to Euphrates River. We take about 20 Marines with us. There's contractors. There's some 3-letter people with us also. So we got about maybe 6 boats. When we get on the river, about 15, 20 minutes, we start encountering lights. The Marine is pointing at these lights. Next thing you know, he's shooting at them because he's afraid. These lights came together and made some type of sound and almost flipped our boat. Right after that, Marines start firing. The guy who's driving my boat, he's maneuvering around by where these doorways are, these caves that this building is connected to that goes underneath the water. And as we're maneuvering around, we see this entity that has chains on him. This thing is like 12 to 14 feet tall. So many muscles. He's so mad. Marines are shooting at this thing. They're not hurting it. They're pissing this thing off. This thing is so fast that it actually has leeway, so it could like maneuver around underneath the water. I don't know how far it go, but it had some slack in his leash. He swipes at one of the boats. He hits one of the boats. I don't know how it didn't go under, but they were the first ones to take off. After we seen that, I'm looking back in so much of awe of this thing. When he turns his body, or it turns his body, it looks like it has a wing. I don't know if it was a wing, but that's what it looked like to me.
Now, the last thing he talks about is after they get back to base, he was told not to talk about the incident ever again. And just out of curiosity, why does that part of the Euphrates River looks like the Omega symbol? Because to me, that clearly definitely means something.
I'm like, how can you make this up? This is like some Kandahar giant, type scene. He didn't stutter. He didn't say, Like, what does he have to gain by telling this story? Is what I'm thinking. Did this actually happen? I'm going to show you some footage next that I believe is some real, whatever's under the Euphrates River, this was the actual sounds of. Take a listen. What you're about to hear is extremely rare footage. I've never heard a sound like this in my life. It is absolutely terrifying.
Full video: strange noises of fallen angel demons screaming, ant chains rattling, and cracks of dried up Euphrates River.
The cameraman is shaking. You can hear the chains. Is he saying help? Listen to his vocal cords. It's like he has a different makeup. Like he has multiple vocal cords. It's not human. I think this sound is really coming from that cave. He's trying to feel the vibrations. That's why he's putting his hand there. You know, man, I'm 99% sure these are real sounds.
Full video. Strange noises of fallen angel demons screaming, ant chains rattling, and cracks of dried up Euphrates River.
And the fallen angel I almost feel like it knows somebody's nearby. So that's why you hear it say help. I've been diving on these waters for a minute, even before I've even joined YouTube. Like I've always been diving into this type of stuff, and this video right here might be the #1 scariest video I've seen on out of everything I've witnessed. This right here, you hear stories of Kandahar giant, my man talking about this chain, and he's mad. You know, who knows how long he's been down there? At least 1,000 years. He doesn't have to eat. He's just in misery down there, chained for 1,000 years. You can hear the pain in his voice. Man, that gives you goosebumps. Some people theorize that's the leader of the fallen angels, Azazel. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I mean, in a world full of Nephilim and giant remains and so much evidence that says giants and mysterious creatures may have been among us, is it that far-fetched? A massive femur, several meters long, was discovered dwarfing a nearly 2-meter tall man standing next to it. This find suggests the existence of ancient giants supporting legends of colossal creatures. Evidence analysis is underway to determine the giant's age, diet, and living conditions, potentially revolutionizing our understanding of prehistoric ecosystems. The discovery challenges current scientific knowledge and may confirm that some myths have a basis in reality. If you're enjoying this type of content, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel out and it helps the algorithm get this into more like-minded people. And I just want to say thank you for your support and all your encouraging words. It really helps. Now let's continue on with this video.
In 1972, near Varna, Bulgaria, a bulldozer uncovered the world's oldest worked gold in a vast Copper Age necropolis dating 4600–4200 BC. Grave 43 held a high-status male buried with more gold than existed anywhere else on Earth at that time, over 6 kilograms total across the site, including a solid gold scepter, battle axe, and phallus sheath, marking Europe's first known elite male ruler. In 1972, near Varna, Bulgaria.
Interesting. I wonder what the story is behind him.
There's 4 hovering things in the sky. It seems like they're growing and morphing in size. There's some kind of like tracker on this, like camera tracker. I'm assuming this is military. And now these orbs in the sky aren't moving, but they're emitting some kind of plasma just dripping down out of the... It makes me wonder if this was not visible to the naked eye as well.
Right. I was thinking the same thing. Is this thermal?
Yeah.
Most likely.
But it looks like there's some kind of plasma just oozing out of these orbs. Watch what happens here.
That's crazy. That shell actually bends and hits both objects, though.
Yeah. So, like, there's, you're definitely right. There's a missile that shoots. Let's just call it a missile because I don't know what it is, but it looks like a missile or something was shot at these things, and you see it make contact with both orbs, and the one, it, like, you're right, it U'd up just a little bit to hit the other one, and then after it explodes these orbs, they morph back into an orb again, oozing their plasma. It makes you wonder, first of all, like, this orb that we're looking at here, is it physical? Whatever they shot at it didn't explode. So did it actually make contact with anything? So, like, you think a missile, if it makes contact with something, it's going to explode. So maybe that was them trying to figure out if these are actually physical or what. It just, there's a lot of questions about this, right? We also see there's conflict amongst the idea of UFO, UAP entities and military governments. It's this mixed bag where there's this constant mind game playing. It's real, it's not real, it goes back and forth, and you as the receiver of all this information never truly understand what the baseline is, what the foundation is. You know, because you have like these legends of, you know, our government working with these entities. You hear people talk about, I've seen a human being working alongside the entity in cooperation. And then you see and hear stories of there being great conflict.
This was orbs regenerate outside of a military base in Afghanistan. Like, I don't know what went across here, but it's like they didn't use form. Almost like it was some type of organic plasma or something. How weird. What is that oozing out? And this is it right here. If this is thermal, then the end is like the thruster, and if that's the thruster, it just shows how hot the black marks is if this is thermal. So these are just, I would say, damn near 3-4 times hotter than the thruster of whatever this is right here. That's just my thoughts. And then when it, you know, it just turns whatever was inside just super hot everywhere, and it just is no effect. Like some type of force field. What is it? What happened in Australia?
Why do we not see these videos? This video here, this is STS48 from, I believe, 1991. It was played on the Larry King Show.
Oh, yeah.
Among many others. And I've debated this, argued this with, you know, with NASA guys, and won every time. And this is not being discussed. And I don't think the people on the committee even know this video exists. This is STS48, 1991, over Australia. This is the air glow layer of the Earth. Top right there. This is the hard horizon of the Earth.
Okay.
These objects, some of them are stars in the background. Some of them are maybe ice crystals tumbling. This, I don't know what exactly this is. It's like some sort of mark on there, but
that looks like a smudge.
It's not a smudge, it's a light.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Not, it's something, yeah, I mean, I've looked at it. So if you notice down below in the dark part of the Earth there, this is at night, it's moving into the sunrise. The shuttle is moving into the sunrise. Notice there are objects that are moving around down there.
What are those flashes of light we're seeing on the...
That's lightning.
Okay.
Which is interesting, because the next video I'm going to show you, it's pretty interesting stuff. Now, if you watch the center of the screen, right about in here, in a couple minutes, you're going to see an object. And that object is going to pop right up over the physical horizon.
Okay.
And then it's going to move to the left, and then something's going to happen. Okay, come on, play.
It says it's still playing.
Okay. So.
Is it slowed down, or is that our computer?
I think it's the computer.
Maybe just pause it for a quick second, maybe let it catch up.
There we go.
There we go.
So there it pops up, flies along.
Yep.
Right over the horizon, and then...
I see it.
Bang.
Wow.
1 shot fired, 2 shots fired.
Wow.
45-degree turn instantly.
Into space.
Into space.
So this is not an aircraft reflection. That it flew into space.
Yep.
And what did we see? Were those launches?
Well, let's talk about that. Let's catch it. So it pops up over the physical horizon.
Yep.
It had to be, and people have done calculations on this before. It has to be about as big as the space shuttle to even be visible. It pops up over the horizon. It flies along the horizon, the physical horizon of the Earth. The flash goes off. That's what. Come on, baby. Flies along the physical horizon, and it's traveling at several thousand miles per hour, apparently in the atmosphere. Bang! It turns. It accelerates. It goes through the air glow layer. 1 thing, 2 things get shot, and it disappears. So, a couple of interesting factoids about this video. Dr. Jack Kasher of Nebraska, physicist out of Nebraska, said, broke it down frame by frame. He said the object, when the flash goes off, actually stops for 1.5 seconds, comes to a complete dead stop, goes from like 1,000 miles an hour to a dead stop, and then 45 degrees. The turn itself, if there was a physical pilot inside, would be the equivalent of dropping like a 14-story building on you. So whatever this is, it has an inertial dampening field. With Fon OC, with Dr. Bob Wood. And I said, Blaine, have you ever seen a flash like that? He goes, never.
Never.
I've been in space for like 100 hours, and the thrusters don't do that. You don't see a flash, you see nothing. Whatever that is, it's got nothing to do with the space shuttle. And then the streaks, okay?
I wonder about those.
Guess where they were? Right over the CIA base at Pine Gap, Australia.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what were the streaks?
Well,
because they were moving really fast.
Hoagland actually speculated in his excellent analysis on this that they were probably a railgun. That a railgun, which is just super accelerates particles into space, but it was no match, obviously, for what we saw in the video. Absolutely no match.
This was in the 90s?
1991. Don Ecker, I want to credit Don Ecker. I think it's Don Ecker who found this. Just recorded it one night on NASA Select TV. Now, I've heard there are higher resolution versions of this, but I don't know that for a fact.
Right.
So this is one of the ones floating around. Why do we not see these videos?
The truth about these old dates on Russian gravestones that is never told. This is the Slavic calendar, It is still considered the most accurate in the world because it is based on the model of the universe and the galactic alignment of the Earth. The word calendar in Old Russian was kolodar, which means the gift of the sun circle. According to this calendar, we now have the year 7531. The countdown began from the day of the creation of peace, when our ancestors won a long, bloody war over the land of the dragon, present-day China. This event was erased from Russian history and worldwide history books by Peter the Great, who was influenced in his views by his Western advisors during his travels to the West. In the year 1700, he established the current year counting in Russia, starting with the birth of Christ. Until then, Russia used the old Slavic calendar. The modern word for year in Russian is written as God. However, the original word for year is leto, which also means summer. This is why in old Russian documents and engravings you can still see both chronologies, the old leto and the new God. Despite other Slavic languages, the word mir has a double meaning in Russian language, peace and world, or state without war. As you can see in this old document, which says, in the year from the creation of peace, 7156, and at the bottom, the year 1820. The truth about these old dates.
The year 7000 on a tombstone is absolutely wild.
Island in New York you're not allowed to visit. It's called North Brother Island, and it's right between the Bronx and Queens, less than 1,000 miles from the city. For decades, this island was used to isolate people. Thousands were sent here, and many never left. A hospital, mass graves, and records that stopped abruptly. And when it got shut down, everything stayed. The beds, the files, and the buildings. No redevelopment, no memorial, and absolutely no public access. So, if this is just an abandoned hospital, why is it still forbidden?
If you had to ask me, it's probably one of those old asylums that they used to put people in.
There are things there that they will not talk about. One has said to me, there's a code. We can't talk about certain things. I asked another one recently I was meeting online about the hill. He said something like, I took an oath not to talk about the structure of it. There are things there that they can't talk about. They seem like they're evasive, but they're not allowed to. But there are things
that's like rules set by God in their perspective.
It seems to be the case. They haven't said the source of the oath, but they know there are things they're not supposed to talk about.
Okay.
But there are things that they can talk about. So what a number of them have told me is everything on the hill worships God. Every blade of grass on the hill is alive in some unique way and worshiping God. One woman told me, and she's high-functioning autism, that she's only been to the hill a few times. And she said, Joe, the rocks there worship God. Well, you think where Jesus said, if these were silent, the rocks would cry out. Everything in some sense has, I hate using a word like life. Everything responds to God. And a number of them have emphasized the flowers on the hill. The flowers have some colors we've seen on Earth, some colors we've not seen on Earth. That's a difficult concept, right? Mm-hmm. How could you look at a color and say, oh, I've never seen that color before, right? But and Elsa gave me more details on it. Again, I went into this somewhat in the book, that the flowers have a unique smell, a smell of creative energy, and they have something to do with people. And there's intercession and teaching on the hill. They don't just go there to, hang out with their friends. They go there because they are taught by Jesus. They get assignments. They are interceding for the world. Mind-blowing. So they're going from people we wrote off, let's show them, Barney cartoons, to they're on these special assignments. There are things there that they will not talk about.
It says plants and rocks are alive in the astral. Is this astral realm? They're saying this is a secret hill where autistic children meet Jesus. Fascinating.
What's the simplest and cheapest way that we can make our own charged water at home?
The lignites, the magnetite, and I haven't give up on the activated charcoal. It's pretty good. But remember, when you're playing with activated charcoal, if it's been silver ionized, it's a little better. It's easier to keep the bacteria. Remember, charcoal filters will be breeders for bacteria. I highly recommend that if you're using a charcoal filter, to put a little food-grade hydrogen peroxide through it once in a while. Bacteria likes charcoal. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of bacteria like these iron oxide crystals too. So you need to expose them to sunlight or full spectrum light or ultraviolets, or you should expose them to sunlight just once in a while. You should, in other words, you want things alive, but you don't want things growing alive. Dr. Ricketts, let me tell you, he has taken the materials that's in these plates. He's got some German firm that's making them into little bottles. The first bottle he made it was aromatherapy, and he put 30 different aromatherapy herbs or oils, essential oils, in a little tiny bottle. And the bottle is energizing. Well, the first thing I'd done with the bottles, and I got a few of them, the first ones he got, and he pays quite a bit of money for these because they're made to his specification. They look black, but if you put them up at the sun, they got to look just like a purple plate.
How do we use magnets to do the water?
Magnets, don't say magnets, say pararomagnetics. And pararomagnetics is a little iron oxide crystal. I had in my briefcase some of the large ones, which are very rare. You don't find them very often. When we run maybe 10 tons, sometime we'll find one or two. But I've got some that look like double-ended pyramids with the same angle of the pyramids of Giza. Now, there is only 4 or 5 metals that do that, 4 that I know of offhand. Fluorspar has this same deal. You want to know? Pure gold in its crystalline form is a double-ended pyramid. And magnetite is a double-ended pyramid. Diamond, in its, without being abused or roughed in that, is a double-ended pyramid. So, now when they buried the Egyptians, they put a piece of lignite in one hand and they put a piece of magnetite in the other hand. What were they trying to tell us?
Joe, what are the processes to make a potentized, charged, or balanced, healthy water? What processes do we do at home?
Well, I like the iron oxide crystals because it's the cheapest. You can use electrolytics, and you've got to be careful about the balance when you put an anode and a cathode in it. So there's so much that goes on that. You can do the grandeur bits. There's a dozen different ways you can do water. You can do the Japanese clustered water, all this stuff. I don't like the clustered water as much.
What's the simplest and cheapest way that we can make our own charged?
I feel like he was throwing us a Hail Mary way back in the day at Holiday Inn. I need to start blessing my water. You know, like how you bless your food, we should be blessing our water and our morning coffee. You know what I'm saying? I believe the vibration and positive thoughts may do something to the water and liquid as well. Just like that experiment where they wrote positive affirmations on the water, and then they wrote negative stuff on the water, and then I believe it was rice, and the rice stayed better longer, and the kind that had disrespectful language on it rotted way quicker. That would actually be a good experiment, you know, seeing if we can do that with water and just putting it under a microscope and seeing the difference.
Slow down. Slow down. You can work your job, that job ain't gonna come to your funeral. That was told to me by a director that I worked with years ago. You work so hard, work so much, but you never take time for a proper vacation. You never take time, you know, granted you go to work for your kids and to make money and take care of a lifestyle, and you can do all that. Some people still won't have a regard or respect or love for you, no matter what sacrifice you make. But slow down for you, slow down for what matters most. And what matters most is what you determine. But slow down in life a little bit. And that's what fishing is. You don't have to think. You can just do. People do so much. I gotta be on social media. I gotta. Back in my day when I was a kid, we had microfiche. And the internet was at the library. We were too poor to have internet at home. We didn't have computers in our hand. But Slow down.
Where did
You live a little bit longer.
Where did you grow up?
Southside Chicago.
Was it as tough as it is now?
Oh, it ain't tough like that now. No, it's not that tough.
Yeah, the grass green on the other side, but guess what? Grass got to be mowed over there just like it was mowed over here. I give you $1 million right now. What can you do with it? Drive most people crazy. Most people go broke in less than 30 days. And it didn't do nothing. Didn't invest. You can't take it with you. You came into the world naked, you're going to leave this world naked. Okay? What you got to do is you got to have a heart that's right. I'm going to tell you like Denzel Washington said a month ago. So you buy the new house. You get the customized car. Truck, classic. Then all of a sudden, you die. Most people going to forget about you in less than a month. That car that you spent all that time on cleaning, buffing it, and they're going to sell it. That house that you broke your back so the family would have a nice place, they're going to sell it. And then they're going to say, Uncle who? What was his name? They don't even remember your name. What you got to do is seek the Bible saying. That means you got to look, seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added. Yeah, the grass green on the other side, but guess what?
I personally never been in any experience in my life where the grass was greener on the other side. That's just me, you know. Every single way you can flip it, grass being greener on the other side, it's not. Especially if you have good discernment. And what he said about you working hard to have a house, you know, and they sell it, it gets ugly. You know, I've personally experienced it growing up, where, you know, a loved one passes away and the family battles for the property, and one person sells it, when I would love to, you know, walk around a place where I grew up and have those memories, but they just sold it, like he said. You know, it gets ugly. But I know a lot of people at the same time will blow money. I believe people are smart with money as well. Like, they will secure a future for their kids, make sure they always have a home to go to, so they're not on the streets or constantly renting. You know, there's people that will do the right thing too. You know, not everybody's just gonna blow it. You know what I'm saying? I believe, you know, people can make smart decisions, and, you know, that's just my thoughts on it. But I can see people, you know, blow money. I know people that have a good heart. If they were given $1 million, they won't get the fancy car, the fancy house. They'll just get what they need and give back to the community. I know I would. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What would you do if you had $1 million? What's the plan? If you ask me, if you get one lump sum for $300,000, $400,000, that's all it really takes to get a decent house and a decent car that'll last you 25 years. You know, just one step closer to getting out the matrix. Yeah, you still gotta pay property tax and all that stuff, but, you know, you ain't renting that rent every month on top of your dome, you know, like a rain cloud. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my best to go fishing this year, multiple times a week at least. You know, I feel like fishing is good for the soul. Like, all I got is fresh water near me, and, you know, I really don't want to cook no bluegill. I really want some perch or red snapper or halibut. You know what I'm saying? Those are the fish I really like. I heard pike was good, but I never tried it. Alright, gang, it's that time of the day again. If you thought I wasn't going to have another excellent specimen for you today, think again. Hi, Houston! Alright, we have a, I'm not too sure what this is, but it is definitely unique. The orbs on this like dangerous snowball is very crazy. Definitely unique, but the almost pure white color of the crystal makes it pop and really is extraordinary. The rating I'm gonna give this, I'm gonna have to give this a, I'll give this an 8.5, and I will call it the dangerous snowball. The poisonous snowball. That's my name for it. The poisonous snowball. Man, that's all we got for today's video. If you made it this far, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video or learned something, it helps the channel out and helps us, the algorithm, get it into more like-minded people. And I just want to say thank you for hanging with me. The code word for today is fallen angel. Drop fallen angel in the comments below. When you do that, that lets me know you're a real one. You made it all the way through the video and you really rock with your boy. And again, huge shout out to everyone that made it to the live last night. It was a lot of fun. You know, we hung out. We even jumped on some Oregon Trail at the end. Huge shout out to everyone that made it to the end of that. It was a lot of fun. You know, we're gonna have to, I got a few more ideas up my sleeve, you know, so we can kick it longer. That was close to a 3-4 hour stream. You know, I would like to go even longer on that, you know, because it's just fun hanging with y'all, and I truly enjoy it. I was actually feeling down yesterday, and after the stream, it just did a 180. You know, I want to thank everyone for making me feel better. That meant a lot. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. This was the most mysterious footage and mysterious TikToks on the internet today. See you later.